Hello lovely people, it's another beautiful day in the sunny Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada. I'm going out a bit later, but I'm just mulling over ideas for my next project, or should I say projects. I feel like I'm really motivated, especially in the sewing department right now, but I also have some other ideas with yarn. And so I'm getting this down and recorded right now while the ideas are all fresh in my mind. I got out my vlog notebook here where I keep a note of what I've talked about in each vlog and write down the links that I have to put in the description underneath, and I dedicated a page to some ideas, some little scribbly bits on. So I know I've been really excited about using up scraps lately, but I had an idea for another bag. It's just going to be a project bag for knitting or crocheting, and it was inspired by this. Is it upside down? Yeah, it was upside down. It is twill tape that's marked with centimeters. It goes from 1 to 50 and then starts again. And I held it up against a ruler just to see if they had printed it accurately, and it's pretty darn close actually. I wouldn't use it as a ruler, but I'm just going to use it for show. But of course, when I was looking at my twill tape for the little gift box I made yesterday with all the Christmassy fabrics and the twill tape tie, I found this and I thought, okay, I need to use that. It's a tailor one. This is Fabricland's own brand. $10 for this packet is expensive. I would say if you're going to Fabricland, never buy these never pay full price for these because they regularly go on sale at 50% off. So there's 3.65 meters or 4 yards in there. So not the cheapest twill tape by any means, but I'm definitely going to enjoy using a bit of it. And in doing so, I'm thinking, I should ask you, what are you inspired by? A lot of the times I'm inspired by my stash, which is awesome because it means that I can use what I already have. And it always feels like when you're using stash that it's free because you've long forgotten how much you paid for something, except maybe for these beautiful Free Spirit fat quarters. I'm never going to forget what I paid for those. That's why I haven't cut into them yet. But yeah, when you're using scraps, it feels like it's free. And the thing I made yesterday, the little wooden trees that I put on that gift bag, they were given to me by a friend. I'm using scraps of batting, scraps of quilt cotton that I've had in the stash for a really long time. And quite often I'm piecing the lining for bags as well. And so the only real expense is the interfacing. The webbing that I used for the last couple of my scrappy tote bags was given to me by the same friend. She's awesome. Thanks, Jane. I don't know if she's watching, but I'll say thanks anyway. So when I came down this morning, I had to tidy up because, as usual, my sewing table was a disaster. Had to put away all the scraps of fabric I was playing with yesterday and just sort things out. Pulled this out of its packet, and now what I want to make is this, as I say, a little drawstring project bag with this fabric. I hope you can see the pattern okay. It's a black background. Oh yeah, that shows up well in the light there. It's a black quilt cotton with lots of sewing themed stuff on it, like mannequins and pin cushions and tape measures and rotary cutters and buttons. So pretty. And so this is going to be paired with a black jeans leg, and the size of the bag will probably be dictated by how much denim I can harvest from this. I haven't decided if I'm just going to cut the seams off and use the fabric that way round, or whether to cut it open and leave leave a seam right in the middle of the base of the bag. I might do that because I rather like it when you can see that it was upcycled from jeans. So black denim, black quilt cotton, and I thought what I would do is put this twill tape across the seam between the fabric and the jeans, which is going to be about 3/4 of the way down the bag probably, and then use this also for a drawstring. And that can be another entry for the Dodgy Bag Make Along that Ali of Little Drops of Wonderful and Claudia of Crochet Luna are running right now. I'm really excited about that. I had a dream the other night, and I remember my dreams pretty well, especially the ones that happen just before I wake up. And one of the things that really stands out for me is that in this dream, there was this sweater, and it was a really, really, really deep green. It was so dark green, it was almost black. And it's not a color that normally I would wear. But in the dream, it was this color. And it had the most amazing design on the front. So it started with a circle, and all these colors radiated out from it. Now I want to create that in yarn. There's a couple of ways I could do that. I don't think I want to get like a thrift store sweater or a new sweater and do it. I want to make it and probably knit it. But I thought maybe I could knit it on my knitting machine. I have a really basic Bond knitting machine. And I've made a couple of things on there over the years, but it really doesn't get used as much as it should. But I thought if I was to knit some basic pieces, maybe even make it a sleeveless sweater. Doesn't have to have sleeves, but the one in the dream had sleeves. But I'm not sure about drop shoulder sweaters, so I might make it sleeveless so that I can just have it as a spring autumn wearable. And then I could get all these other colors and like hand embroider them on. I keep thinking about this now. I don't know whether my Lion Brand Heartland will work for that. I need to make sure the colors are really bright and the base sweater is really dark. So what I might do is next time I'm at work, I might have a look at the yarn and see if I can find something. Maybe that's bulky, so it knits up really quickly. Maybe a hooded sweater that knits up really quickly. And then I can do the embroidery on, because that will be the exciting part. What else have I got on my list? Yeah, my scrappy string-pieced cushion covers. I started something before I went over to Jersey for my mum's funeral that was string-pieced quilt blocks, and they were really random. They were not colour themed or organized at all. They would just use the scraps in whatever way to use them up. And I made a ton before I went away, and I'm not feeling excited about working on it again, but I really, really, really need to continue that project so that I can put these colourful string-pieced cushions on my couch. Because right now they're just looking their basic brown, and brown is kind of boring sometimes. So on this list, I had use the twill tape, and use some more denim. So that bag I just told you about is perfect. That will feed two birds with one scone, as they say. And so that will make a nice drawstring bag. The other thing it would be nice to do is to pull out a bunch of the denim and make a tote bag. I've made quite a few tote bags before for Dress for Success, which is an organization which helps women who are in whatever disadvantaged situation they are in to get clothes so that they can dress up for interviews to get jobs. And they always let them go home with a big tote bag, which they can then use for whatever once they've taken it home. And some friends and I have had a couple of sessions, sewing sessions, where we have made tote bags for that organization. And I was thinking a denim patchwork bag would be fun for that. that would need quite a lot of lining, so I'd need a big chunk of fabric to line it with, so I'd have to think about what that's going to be. And the other thing I want to do is I need to buy a small pattern. It's for a crochet mushroom, which seems really random, but this is how inspiration comes, right? You get it from friends, you get it from online, Ravelry or Facebook or Instagram. Some people go to Pinterest. I've given up on Pinterest because it's just full of too much of not what I'm looking for. Facebook's like that as well, right? You just see so much you didn't ask to see. But inspiration can come from anywhere. And my friend wants to learn how to crochet better. She already has the basics because I've seen a little bit of her crochet because she asked me for some help in getting something done once. So I know she knows the basics. But she sent me a picture of this crochet mushroom, and the top, the cap of it, is almost like a granny square, except it's a round, of course. It's a domed round. And it's really cute. And so I could see the name of the designer imprinted on the photograph. So I went to Ravelry and I found her. I think her name is Joy Clements. And she does some really cute designs. And so I found the exact crochet mushroom on her Ravelry designer page. And I have put it in my queue, and I'm going to buy the pattern because I probably could figure out how she made it just by looking at the photo, but I figured she should get a little bit of money for her efforts. So the plan is, in a couple of weeks' time, I've got this friend coming over, and I think we're going to make this mushroom. So I'm all ready for that. So I'm trying to get a little bit excited about yarn again. I don't know, trying is probably the wrong word. I think if you try too hard, sometimes it doesn't work, right? You can't try to get your mojo back. You can't try to get inspiration. Sometimes you just have to let it come to you when it's ready. So that's what I've got right now. I've got a knitting project I'd like to do, which is the sweater, a crochet one, which is the mushroom. And if I buy it ahead of time, I could probably make one so that I've got the know-how before my friend comes over and wants to learn how to make it. I've got some sewing to do, of course. And I think I'm going to get started on that sewing project really soon, like as soon as I turn off the phone. I think this is going to be cute. Cut my denim 9 wide by 6 tall, same with my cotton. And the plan is, once I've seamed it, is to put this across here. And I think it would be handy, because if you didn't have a tape measure in your project bag, you could actually use this in a pinch. So what I'll have to do, I might end up losing a little bit there, but I think I should make sure that at least one of the sides has it starting at 0. Of course, I have to allow for my seam allowances, but I'm sure I can figure that out. These are my bag outers. I seamed the denim and the print together, and then I fused interfacing on the back. So once I had sewn them together, they came out approximately 11.5 by 9. So then once I had got that measurement, I was able to cut out my linings, which is just going to be a very low-key grey. And these 2 pieces are 9 inches by 2 3/4, because I want them to be 1 inch sticking out and then 3/8 of an inch on either side in the seam. And by the time I have double folded the ends, there will be a little bit of space for the drawstring to stick out at either side. And I decided to use the hem at the bottom of the jeans leg for a wrist strap. I cut off one of the bulky bits on the side seams, left the other one over there. I'm going to incorporate that in the side seam there. Things are coming along. I've used double-sided tape to attach these pieces of twill tape to the front. On this side, I started with my 0 mark a centimetre in from the edge, because that's what my seam allowance is going to be, a centimetre or 3/8 of an inch. So that should work quite nicely. But of course, when I get to here and then restart here, I'm going to lose a little bit, but that's okay. And what's nice is that I didn't get to a 50 and have like 50 changing to 1 right in the middle of one side of the bag. So I'm super pleased with that. I'm going to top stitch it on both sides, along both edges now. I love how this looks. 2 lines of top stitching. It didn't obscure the numbers, thankfully. What I've done now is I folded my hems in on my 2 drawstring channels, did a double fold, stitched across, then folded it in half so I can clip it to the tops of my bag. And I've also clipped my strap, which I haven't done anything to, except for trimming the jeans material back as close to the hem as possible. The perfect length, it's great. So I've clipped it on here. So I'm going to do a stitching line here and a stitching line here, and also baste the ends of this here. I could have done the strap pieces on top of each other, but I thought it would be too bulky, so I've just staggered them like that. That's the next step. The strap is basted on these channels. I basted on with like 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and then I added the lining with a 3/8 seam allowance, and I pressed it away from the print fabric. Same with this one. Then all I have to do, put these guys face to face, and sew around, leaving a gap for turning in one of the side seams. Decided at the last minute that I was going to add a little pocket inside, so I picked out one of the colours in the print. The pink doesn't match exactly, but it's bright and fun and goes well with the grey. So I just found this scrap in my stash and I cut the biggest piece out that I could. I just need to lean over and look up what size it was. I did write it down. It's 7 1/4 by 8 3/4 inches, that is. So I folded it in half with right sides together, sewed around, leaving a turning gap, turned it right side out, top stitched it. So my opening is down at the bottom. I'm just going to position it on the right side of one of my linings, and I'll sew around 3 sides and probably down the middle too. It can be useful for little things if you're making a project like stitch markers and stuff like that. I always find if you have a wider pocket that isn't fastened down in the middle, it's very gapey and it just gets in the way and gets annoying. The pieces are sewn together right side to right side on the outers, same on the linings. This is the back of where I have the pocket sewn on. Did a division line down the middle. I marked a 3/4 inch square on both sides of each corner from the seam line, not from the edge. And that's going to be the line that my foot follows, so that my seam line will actually be about 3/8 of an inch in outside of that, or inside, depending on the way you look at it. And so it won't be a major boxy bottom, but I didn't want to lose too much of the denim to the base. The bag is finished. I fitted this in around my other commitments today. I had to take my middle son somewhere. I had to make some dinner. And I had to make sure I got a walk in with Mr. Stitches this evening. But this got finished and I'm really happy with it. It came out about 10 inches tall, not counting the drawstrings. So from the boxed corner to the top 10 inches, and width is approximately 8 inches. And here's the denim handle on it, and the twill tape strip there, and the twill tape drawstring. And then inside, got the grey lining and a bright pink pocket. It has 2 sections. So fun for a small yarn project or whatever, really. Getting my steps in today, in more ways than one. It's Sunday, and it's time to get this video finished and uploaded, isn't it? I have been working on this one since last Tuesday. At the beginning, I showed you the new hair color, and I am quite surprised by how fast it looks like it's fading. I know that pastel colors tend to not last as well, but I have been really careful not using water that's too hot in the shower, and I've only used conditioner on it except for one shampoo, and it looks really, really, really light, especially at the front. So I think I'm going to have to put some more dye on it tonight. That's okay, I've got plenty left in the bottle. I don't know if I told you what brand I'm using. I used the Manic Panic Flash Lightning for the bleaching and Arctic Fox Periwinkle for the color. I haven't used Arctic Fox before. But yeah, if it's a little too wishy-washy, I can always add a teeny bit of turquoise or bright pink. I think I have a small amount of those two bright colors in my bathroom cabinet. So, you know, I can always add a little bit of extra bright if I get fed up with the pale. But I actually rather like that it looks almost silver where the purple faded out. Anyway, what have I been doing this weekend? Well, yesterday I've already put a bit of footage of the walk we did yesterday. And it's nice to get out rather than just walk around the neighborhood all the time. It's so nice to get out to an actual park and walk among the trees and listen to the birds and the water rushing. This is such a great time of year to go into the parks because of the snow melt, and the creeks are really full and really active, shall we say. And yeah, just standing next to them and listening to all that rushing water is so, so lovely. So we did that yesterday, and that was a good long walk. So that was lots of steps, as I said in the clip. Lots of steps, up lots of steps. So yeah, my calf muscles were really sore today. And then today, we went for tea at our favourite tea shop, and then we went for another walk along the waterfront. So that was fun. There was lots happening, so many people out and about. I think this was basically the first day of summer because it got to 30 degrees today, and the forecast for the rest of the week is more of the same or similar temperatures. So the sunscreens come out, the summer clothes have come out. The outfit I wore in the video, in that clip yesterday in the park of the crazy harem pants and the black tank top, I made both of those items, and it always feels so good when you're making something no, that's not right. So good when you're wearing something you made, not the other way around. And so I had made the big sort of crazy wide harem pants and the tank top a few years ago, and I made the little bag pouch that I was wearing just to hold my phone as well. And then today I've been wearing this tank top and this really, really, really voluminous tiered skirt, which I also made a few years ago. The skirt longer than the top. And I also was carrying a bag I had made. So felt great. Oh, and I also wore my bucket hat today. I was a good girl. Rather than try and fry my face, I had sunscreen and a hat on and sunglasses. We also stopped for lunch while we were out because we saw a food truck that we have used a number of times before. We know their food is really good. So we bought some sushi and some boiled dumplings, and Mr. Stitches had some green tea, and I had dragon fruit lemonade, which was fresh dragon fruit, fresh lemon. It was so good. I could go back and drink that every single day, but I won't because they're probably only out and about on weekends, and it was $6. So, you know, occasional treat. So at the moment, I am absolutely stuffed because I made cabbage soup for dinner, and yeah, it had cabbage and potatoes carrots, some Japanese yam in it, and a can of tomatoes and some harissa. I'm mad about smoked harissa right now. And of course, I went back to the little store where I originally bought it a couple of times. Haven't had it in. I'm so annoyed. So annoyed. So this is funny because in the last vlog I was saying about how I was in a bit of a slump as far as my yarn projects were concerned and talking about inspiration. And I suddenly got an inspiration. I've mentioned that I had this dream of a sweater in a really, really, really dark green with this pattern on the front, or embroidery even, which is like a central circle and radiating colours from the circle. I'm going to make it. I am going to make it. I'm going to put a little screen recording in here somewhere of the Wool Warehouse webpage, where it shows all of the different colours in this Yarn Smiths Create Super Chunky. And as soon as I looked at that, because I know I talked about maybe doing it in bulky yarn so it was quick to knit up. And as soon as I saw this yarn, I thought it just has the perfect colours. Perfect colours. So I'll need my reading glasses on for this bit. But they have a colour in there called Deep Ocean, and I think it's just a really, really, really dark blue or maybe a really dark teal. So that's perfect. And then my embroidery colours are going to be mustard yellow, pink berry, turquoise, purple orchid, and burnt orange. So I did a little drawing with the colours on it. And I've ordered it already. I've ordered 10 balls of the Deep Ocean and 1 ball of each of the other colours. Can't remember. I think it might be about 80 metres per 100 gram ball. And Yarn Smiths is Wool Warehouse's own yarn line, and it's super cheap, and it's like 20% off right now. So you see the prices in pounds, but at the top you get to choose the currency you'd like them to convert for you. So I clicked the Canada thing and I was able to see that they were only about $3 something a ball for me, and that was super cheap. I can't even buy it at the place I work for that price. Even if I could get it or something similar there, it would not be as cheap as that. So 10 balls of the ocean, and then the 5 contrasts, that's 15 balls of yarn. I plan to use a 10mm circular needle, and I have a metal higher one. Not my favourite material for a knitting needle. I do love the birchwood ones. And in fact, Wool Warehouse does also have the Knit Pro rainbow wood ones in a 40 inch or 100 centimetre long 10mm size. And it was so tempting to get it, but I thought, nope, I already have one. It's the perfect size. I'm not going to buy myself another needle. And I'm thinking that the gauge is probably going to be about a stitch per centimetre. I've gone over to centimetres again. So about 10 stitches to 4 inches. And I've pulled out this book here that I own. It's Anne Budd's handy book of top-down sweaters. And this is an amazing book. So much math has been done for you. Multiple styles of sweater, multiple sizes from children up to adult. And I'm going to have to do a gauge swatch, obviously, when I get the yarn. But when I've done the gauge swatch, I'll be able to figure out which of these sizes I'm going to make and which instructions I'm going to follow. I have used this book before for making things. It's just going to be a really basic raglan sweater, probably with a crew neck. I think so. I don't think I need to do a V-neck. That sounds like an extra step of faffing, doesn't it, really? long sleeves, ribbed cuffs, ribbed welt. Easy peasy. And you know, don't really need a huge amount of hand holding for this sort of thing, because I've made this style of sweater before, top down. But just for getting started with the numbers at the neck and knowing how many to have at the front, back, top of each sleeve, yeah, just to get started really. So I'm very excited about that. So out of the things I was talking about at the beginning of the video, I've got the sweater on the go. Like it's almost started, because the yarn will be arriving in the next couple of weeks. The cushion cover string piecing, I decided to wait. I've got a plan to go to the fabric store this week. I'm going to buy more interfacing. I want the really light stuff for the string pieced patchwork squares. So I have legitimately put that one on hold for now, guilt-free. So I did the twill tape denim upcycling because I made that little bag. I haven't done a tote bag out of denim. Maybe next time. Crochet mushroom. Haha, another thing I have made progress on. So, told you earlier that a friend of mine sent me a picture of this really cute crocheted mushroom the other day, because she wants to learn how to make it. So I bought the pattern. It's Joy Clements. I was right, it was Joy Clements, and it's called something like, oh, hang on a minute. I can't remember. Something mushroom, but I'll make sure to link it in the description underneath the video. And I pulled out some Drops Muscat, which is just I think it's a mercerized cotton. I have 4 shades of it, and I used the white for the stem and a light blue for the underneath, and then a darker blue for the cap. Now the cap, I know, would look way nicer done the way she does it, with different colors for each round. But I was just having a practice run, and it's quite ingenious how she makes it. And yeah, if I had tried to figure it out myself, I would have spent way longer trying to work out how to make it look good. So I'm really glad I bought the pattern. It was about $4 Australian, which is pretty much $4 Canadian as well. And at this point, I would really love to thank a lady who is a long-time supporter of my channel, and she has given me quite a few cups of coffee via Ko-fi. Her name is Joan, and every now and again she sends me a lovely message and gives me a little tip on Ko-fi. So thank you, Joan, and to anyone else who has ever sent me a little donation on Ko-fi. I'm very grateful. And this last little donation of Joan's came at just the perfect time to pay for this mushroom pattern. So that was wonderful. The top is basically a granny technique. There's some little granny clusters in there. It's just you can't really tell that well because it's all blue. Whereas if I had done it in separately coloured browns, it would have been clearer. But it's very cute. I think after we got home from our walk and our lunch and our errands today, and I sat down on the couch with a cup of tea, I think this probably took me about an hour and a half. And the pattern has a little bonus mushroom as well, which is about this size, which is going to be super cute to make as well. And I will probably end up making one of those as well. Came out a little bit bigger than I expected. Very pleased with it. I think I need to make one that has a red cap and put those white little dots on top to make it look like a toadstool, don't I? That would be fun. So a quick flash of the other crochet project that's currently still on the go. I'm going to try not to unravel it because I stole the stitch marker for the mushroom. It's funny how I bought this new pack of stitch markers a while back and I never find them when I need them. So here's the Paintbox cotton, and it's going to could be quite a reasonable hand towel size by the time I'm done. This is just purely a stash busting project. I just want to use up all my Paintbox cotton. I had 4 colours that I just wound into a cake. And I think probably what I'll do, once I hit that cream colour, I think it's called banana cream because it's kind of a yellowy shade. I was just setting up a Ravelry project page today and I'm pretty sure it said banana cream. I think I'm going to do some sort of topping for it so that topping, banana cream topping, yum. I'm going to do some sort of topper for it so that it will hang on my oven door handle. That was the other whip that's currently on the go, boring as it is. I think that's it for now. I have the sewing machine servicing / repairman coming tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether my sewing machine works any smoother once he's gone. I mean, it's not working, if you know what I mean. But it has been 5 years without any sort of opening up. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I'm sure I read or heard at some point that with a computerized machine, you shouldn't open them up to oil them. So I never have. I have taken the plate off the bottom and dusted around the bobbin case and in the workings at the bottom. But yeah, I think I'll have to watch what he does. And I might ask him just to take a look at the serger as well. Maybe, if he has time. Unless he charges me double, in which case, maybe not. The serger is working fine. I hope you've had an awesome weekend. I want to thank all of you who are watching all my videos. And yeah, some of them have been getting sky-high views lately. It's mostly the ones that have to do with the textile art or the scraps. And so I guess I know what you guys would like to see more of. That's not to say I'm going to stop my yakety yak videos because I really enjoy talking to you. So I'll see you again really soon. Have a great week. And yeah, just a reminder, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to get notifications of when I post a new video, hit the subscribe and the notify buttons. And yeah, that Ko-fi link is underneath in the description if you are interested in buying me a cup of coffee. See you again soon. Bye for now.